Okay, welcome back to the production podcast. This is where we talk about all things productions, films, commercials, and more. I'm Joshua Dixon. I'm a director and producer, one of the founders of Umbrella Films, talking about the commercial that we created called for Carro, the brand Carro. And today is I have with me is Arthur. He was a producer on it. And we're going to continue talking about post-production today. So last time we talked a bit about production, actually the prep. We talked mostly about prep, about creating the animal heads, and how that whole process worked, and how it was a new process, and it was very there was challenges and how we overcame them, and also dealt with COVID during that time and the whatnot. And then and how we dealt with the client interaction throughout the whole process. And then we talked a little bit about production, the shoot day, as in about how we shot some of the shots, like the green screen with the tiger on the
we talked about
the cheetah and the truck and that sort of thing.
A little bit about blocking.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's pick up on production and the shooting, and then we'll work our way into post-production. I'm kind of drawing a blank here about not about the production days, about the shooting days, but about anything really that stands out to me. I mean, we could go through behind scenes photos, but like it was a typical shoot, actually.
Well, it was, but so let's
break down the 2 days then.
Yeah, so let's talk about the 2 days. The way because we didn't have really a lot of budget to go more than 2 days. Typically, a commercial that you have a car, you would have like a car day, right? That where you're on the road.
We did have a car day.
It was a car and something else.
It was one of our staff.
Yeah,
Nico, who's our DOP, and me.
Yeah,
and we had a driver. We went and shot establishing shots
for the car, just
film school style, right? Like from the back seat of the car and stuff.
If I remember correctly, you actually
didn't use it.
End up
no. So at the end of the second day, right, we were running out of sunlight because of the storm.
Yeah,
and we were shooting car to car, and it was it was just one of those things where you're at the end of the shoot, you didn't have. Like this is literally the last setup of the first day, right?
Yeah.
First day or second day?
So
first day.
I remember quite vividly what the schedule was. So we had the first day in the house, right?
Okay, this is the end of second day then.
Yeah. So first day in the house, you started with the garage, like the sports car. And then once you finished the sports car, you brought it
was the end of the first day. We did this car shot.
Yeah, you did the car shots at the end of the first day.
And the second day, we just didn't have time to do it.
You did the truck coming into the driveway first, then you get the sports car in, then you did.
Sorry, I'm talking
photos.
About.
Yeah.
Let me just show.
So everything with this house was shot on the first day.
Right. So here, let's just bring this up. So let's break this down. Let's just play it again real quick in case someone's just tuning in for the first time.
Hey, did you know with just a click, you can buy a car online at Carro? At Carro, each car must pass a rigorous 150-point inspection. Carro's inspectors catch everything. Our delivery team races to get your dream car to your doorstep nationwide. But when your dream car isn't a family car, it's okay. With Carro, you have a 3-day money-back guarantee. Carro. Click, buy, drive. Visit carro.sg.
So I think everything on the first day was the house. So this whole house sequence was the first day. We started from the garage sequence, everything outside the house. Then we moved into the house. And then in the end of the day, you and me and a couple other people ran out to shoot the end car sequence. Yeah, so we started with this stuff.
Yeah, this is the first shots we were doing.
Yeah. And then during the end of the day, you did the end shot.
This here.
Yeah, that shot
This right
here.
Literally this.
Yeah. So this is the 30-second versions. That's why you kind of start at the middle of the car, right? The 60-second version, you see the whole car drive up and then...
True. Let me
go
pull that up for reference. So here is the 60-second.
Yeah.
So you see the whole thing.
Whole sequence.
Yeah.
Shroom.
And so this is done here in Bangkok in the city, right? I think I even drove the car for this, the truck.
Yeah, so the way it worked.
Yeah, I did because I didn't want to. We were moving so fast. And I was like, let's put the DOP in the back of the truck, right? Not the back of the truck, but the back seat of the truck is a 4-door truck.
Yeah.
So that way he can shoot it from the window because we were running out of time. And I drove it instead of having someone drive it, right? And we'd have usually have like a follow vehicle, right? So with the wireless so you can watch it or something like that. But this was just quicker, just because time, to save time. I just did this because I knew where to drive the truck, right? I didn't have to communicate or cue anyone. And we just literally told the actor, right, who was driving the vehicle, this SUV, drive and keep this speed. And then I went and I kept speeding up around him and that sort of thing to get the shots.
So
all safely.
All safely. And we did have, despite that, we had one van up front. So
right, blocking traffic.
Blocking traffic in the front. And then I was actually in another vehicle behind the truck that we were shooting to block vehicle in the back. So that we had this kind of triangle where we were blocking things off. And then once you got your shot, everybody moved to one side.
They were moving. They were not blocking traffic. It was a matter of, it was maintaining car lengths, right?
Yes.
So that no one would be in front of you. Yeah. All done legally.
All done legally.
I just want to put that out there, right?
Yeah.
This was, So, and one thing to note on this is a fake background.
Yeah.
Right. This is not where we actually shot. This background does not exist in Bangkok.
I think this background technically is like Hong Kong or Taiwan or something like that.
It's Hong Kong. It's Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So this is actually, I think it's from the bridge whenever you fly into when you fly into the Hong Kong airport and then you got to go to the mainland, right? It's the mainland. Eric, you know this probably better than either of us. You've been to Hong Kong more than me, but it's a long bridge going to the mainland. You pass by all the islands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where this stock video is from.
Yeah. So you have to land at the airport, then go to the island where Disneyland is, and then you have to pass that island.
This is this might be the Disneyland island.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's an island with basically nothing on it, and then you get more into the mainland.
Yeah. So this is one of those, right? And it was on a stock site, I think, that we purchased from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
because otherwise it was tons of electric wires and cables and old buildings and that sort of thing.
To get something similar to this in Thailand, close to Bangkok, you would still have to go out
at least an hour or two.
Well, I think actually more.
You could go down to there's the on the coast in Chonburi. There's a bridge that they do a lot of car shots on.
Yeah,
it follows for it's like a kilometer or two.
Where it's mountains on one side. So
Cafe on Safan is right there.
Yeah, it's kind of like Sriracha area and stuff like that.
It's north of Sriracha. It's before you get to Sriracha.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But still, that would still be in
exactly. There's no way for us to do it. Yeah.
There's something that looks very similar to this in Thailand, which is down at sorry, I'm feeling put you up. Down towards going to Hua Hin, where there's a road that just hugs right next to the ocean.
Okay.
And then, you get these kind of views of the ocean.
So the reason that I chose this background though was because there's still stuff in the background. It's not just ocean, right?
Yeah.
Obviously there's ocean here and you can see the ocean continue and then there's more islands, but there's depth, right? There was layers and that really helps sell the shot because we did try it with other shots that had just only ocean.
Yeah.
And you couldn't feel the actual movement. It felt like it was in front of a green screen. You just cut something out, right? And so this actually helped provide movement and motion whenever you play it, right? Because if you notice, the background actually just shifts a little bit to the left to help put in a fake parallax to the whole shot. And without those mountains, your eyes don't perceive the parallax.
Yeah.
Right. When it was just a complete clear
clear ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
And no, it works really well. I mean, when you play the
it's so
whole
fast,
sequence,
right?
You don't, when you pause it, I think when viewers are
Of course,
right
you'll see imperfections.
yeah, but when you actually like view it real time, you know, you're focused on the car.
Yeah, and the people.
Yeah, the
exactly.
people, and so you
Like you can't even notice that like the little boy,
Yeah,
you can't see him,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And then this was done quite.
That was a client concern, right? And I'm like, well, do you want him to stand up or be safe? You know, like
The little boy, you can't even see the girl at all. The top of her
yeah,
head
so
is-
you can barely make out the girl right there, right? Yeah.
she's in the back. But I mean, turned out to be a nice shot. Better than I expected, if I'm honest.
Yeah, so I was really actually concerned about this because so we planned not to do a sky replacement at all in the beginning because we had a nice area picked out, but it ended up having storm clouds and then traffic and timing and the storm coming in ruined our daylight. And so the only shot that we got was in front of some other overpasses or cables or like I said, like, you know, old buildings or something like that. And it didn't work obviously for this shot, right? That you don't want old buildings in the background of this to show, you know, how cool of an experience they just had. So because of that, we had to replace the background. And while we were in post, then Nico, our DOP, and myself, and then one of our staff who pulls focus also went out and we did this again. We got the client to ride another car. And we went and this time I was like, you know what, let's make sure we get it. And we went to, I think it's Rachida or Ramantra.
I think Ramantra.
It goes all the way up to Don Mung.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went all the way up to Don Mung, right? And I had a beautiful area picked out.
Yeah.
And we merged onto the ramp, got up onto the highway, and the driver did not. Right. And if you know anything about Bangkok traffic, to turn around and meet up is a whole other 30 to 45 minute ordeal. And that happened. And when it happened, it started to rain again.
Yeah.
And so weather again, you know, screwed us. So we eventually got back together, shot some stuff, but it started to get dark again and it was raining and it was just it's just a Murphy's Law type thing. Not that like this would have stopped, like I could have replaced the background on it also, but we also didn't have cast this day. So I shot with the windows up in hopes of being able to either pull them from this shot and then put them into that shot. Or just use the black, you know, just the black windows.
Yeah.
But in the end, this shot felt way better. Even though like the lighting is very soft. And so this actually really worked out for us in the end because I believe if you remember we were talking about it earlier about the photos for this, about shooting cars and the reflections is very difficult. You get reflections all over the place. Like this hardly had any reflections because one, the color and the paint, right? And then second was the sky was a big softbox now.
Yeah.
Right. Because of the
clouds.
Yeah, exactly. Because of the storm coming in. And so that kind of helped out in the end because it like had this been like really, really harsh sun, like it just wouldn't have composited nicely. So it ended up compositing fine.
I think it worked. And I think like the color grade itself helped.
You can see us in here just a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. But you can see the rims of your car if you notice.
Right there.
Yeah. But I think what was kind of cool is like the color grade really helped. You know, like this shot wasn't so pink. It was quite blue, if I remember correctly, and yellow. And then the colorist kind of.
Yeah, that's where the online artists like really shine.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the things. Actually, if you talk about sky replacement, you do have multiple shots where you have sky replacement.
Oh, we have more. This is a sky replacement.
This is also a sky replacement.
Yeah, before there was cables all over the place.
Yeah.
Right. And anyone that lives or has been to Thailand knows all about the electric cables, right?
And then the sky was blown out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had
we also removed the logo.
Yeah.
That was actually done by the art team. We didn't even touch that up.
So the art team so what we did, we made sure was every logo had stickers, a plate or anything to cover it so that if we needed to smooth it out in post, we could.
Right.
We ended up not really needing to, because in the end it's so quick.
That's good, because we had to find extra money for the sky replacement at the end right here.
Yeah. So there was that sky replacement, sky replacement. I think you had to fix actually some reflections in the BMW.
Yeah, there was actually quite a few on that.
And then on this car, we removed.
This is a fake reflector, I believe.
Yeah.
Because there was a brand, the car brand Mitsubishi or something was here.
Yeah.
So we had to cover it up with the reflector.
Yeah. So there was that. All the wheel hubs where there's like logos of the brand, we had to.
Yeah. Here, let's start at the beginning, and we'll just break down the post.
Yeah.
I'm good to jump from the shooting part.
Okay.
I feel like post is much more interesting on this.
Sure, I agree with that.
A quick reminder for all of the people that are listening. It's greatly appreciated if you could leave us a review about the podcast and let us know your thoughts. So we'll just talk about it as we go.
We smoked.
Is that tracking markers on the back of the phone?
Maybe. Actually,
wow.
We never noticed that. That went to air.
Yeah, that's the screen. Those are trackers on there. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, guys. So, well, I guess that's good that we had to watch it like 100 times and I mean, we watched it more than 100 times during the edit. So the fact that I never, well, I mean, here's how fast he goes. Yeah, you don't see it.
You don't. You think it's a reflection, right? No, I never noticed that until.
Yeah, it's just stuff on the screen, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe that's his screensaver. Maybe he's a VFX artist.
He just has tracking markers.
He moonlights as a VFX
He works
guy.
with the art team.
Yeah,
It's like, this
exactly. So this set was done at a studio house.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a little house that they have that's set up for shooting only. Right. Normal size house, but it's just reserved for shoots basically.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything was brought in though. All the furniture and everything. I think maybe the cabinets and stuff were already there.
Cabinets in the background and some of the frames and stuff in the background were already there. Yeah, but you brought in furniture like the sofa, tables, and all that.
Due to budgetary restraint, right? We had to figure out a happy medium of finding a location that's kind of like halfway, at least halfway, art directed already. In the way we want, right? And then we enhance it basically by adding, pieces. This may have been the coffee table that was actually there, I think. Maybe. But this piece, I know we brought in all these plants. I think, this little terrarium thing and all that we brought in.
Yeah. Even that Indian rubber plant in the back was brought in. Yeah. So, I mean, but that's a good thing about shooting in Bangkok, right? A lot of studio houses will have furniture already.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great way to help your budget, honestly.
Yeah.
That's not common in a lot of other countries.
Yeah.
So play here, go to this next. So this was a whole carousel thing. We actually used the old school iTunes carousel, if you remember, as reference for this for the clients.
Yeah.
Because it also need to match or have a similar feeling to their website, because their website.
So I remember their website had actually these cards. So when you go into their website and then you scroll down, there'll be these similar kind of cards for each car. Yeah. That's kind of boxed.
Right.
The layout of it actually comes straight from their Singapore website, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, we kind of just use that. But then a carousel idea for me, that was like the bomb, because that made it feel, relatable, but also kind of.
It's been ingrained in people's minds for 10 plus years.
Yeah,
right?
and it's one of those things where as soon as he swipes and you see that carousel and goes, you understand it because you've experienced
he's flipping through cars.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if he's just flipping on the phone down here, right, and then up here a new car appears, you're not really understanding that this motion connects to it.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why I think the carousel is really important.
Yeah. That's a sweet car. I took that car out for a joyride.
Yeah, the Beamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you wrap the car for the first day, I was like,
"Did you drive it home?"
No, I took it. So I just drove it for probably like 15, 20 minutes around the village we were shooting in.
Because you could.
Just because I could. It was like, he was like, okay, do you want me to take this back to, and then I'll meet you guys tomorrow? I'm like, oh, no. I rented it for the day.
I still have time.
So did that.
I need to go to 7-Eleven. All right.
Yeah.
One note, shooting with children is always challenging. This kid, to get him to do this, oh my gosh.
Really?
Yeah. The guy, he was all over the place, right? He's looking, because he doesn't have an attention span, right? He's what, I don't know, 4 years old, 5 years old or something. Am I just completely off on my age on kids?
I don't know. I can't remember. I think we try to cast everybody like
He's super young.
5 to 7 or something like that.
I'm going to say he's 5. Because it felt like directing a 5-year-old. I mean, like, it was just like, I had everyone else, these 3.
Yeah.
And thankfully the daughter, she's on point. They had to be prepared and ready all the time.
Yeah.
And listen and pay attention, because as soon as he was, doing what I needed, then I needed them to deliver their performance. Yeah. Basically based on when he decided to behave, just to put it bluntly. Yeah. I mean, he was good. It's just that you can't, like, a 5-year-old's attention span is, I don't know.
It's that short.
Yeah.
Right.
Way shorter than this podcast. So, cool. So, going to this was just camera tracking. I'm sorry. This is just tracking markers, all done in post. Yeah. Let's not comment about how the finger doesn't line up with the buy now button. Yeah. Because that was a whole
thing, because we had to readjust this whole layout
that we tried to address in the very beginning. Yeah. And then there was this whole issue of, all right, let's make it a thing. So we could not get the graphics, if I remember correctly. Like, we could not get any kind of graphic interface decided on from
so we did
not our side.
We did send all this out, and it was actually already kind of pre-approved, because one of the things in our
but they kept changing buttons and stuff.
So in the storyboard meeting, we did talk about this, and they were like, no, we want a big buy now button because it needs to be clear.
Right. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah. And then once we actually did it, they were like, no, the buy now button is too big. Right? Yeah. So
that's why there's actually, I mean, it happens so quick, so you don't know. It's just like, here, let's click. He technically hits it. Yeah. But that was the issue, right? Like, had we been able to decide on this all completely, I would have put graphics on the phone when we shot. Yeah. I prefer to do that if we can.
For real. And that's why you see those, like, deliver nationwide, blah, blah, at the bottom, because we needed to fill in that space.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I do think it still turned out well.
Yeah, it's fine. I know it's fine. This is just a breakdown of, all the fun intricacies.
And just so viewers know, like, on a delivery level, if you go back to that shot, and actually every shot that we see the phone or the carousel, anything, because we delivered it for Indonesia, Thailand, and Singapore, all of these text, the currency needs to change, the model of the car changes,
to match. It's everything from creative to legal.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So
the creative director for that country, plus the attorneys for that country
have to tell us what it is, right? And then, for instance, like in Assure Plus works in Thailand and in Singapore, but then when it's in Indonesia, it's a completely different logo. Yeah. So it's just a reminder to anybody who's doing a commercial for multinationals, when you're thinking about your deliverables and your graphics.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, I just need you to export one more with a different graphic. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, well, you need one more, or you need one more for the mobile vertical and for the TV horizontal and for, like, they start to add up.
When you actually, because I've like one of the first jobs I did in Umbrella Films was Pomelo Fashion. Right? And at the time, I wasn't that experienced. And then the deliverables sounded simple, but then actually when we got into post and I was breaking it up, it was like, holy shit. It's actually 60 deliverables that we had.
60.
Yeah, it came out to be like 60 because
photos,
all the different versionings,
Yeah.
all the different, not just the photos, just the videos alone were 60
Yeah.
because there were multiple
60, 60.
60 because you
Wow.
had 4 different aspect ratios and then you had 6 different video lengths and stuff like that. So, you know, and then you had like little like clips and whatnot. It came out to be like 60. It was a lot.
Wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I
Thought it was like 16.
no, it was a lot because like they had to do it for
Pomelo, the one that we shot with Roman
Yeah.
on the beach or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. Because in the end, it was like we had a Thai version, we had a Philippine version, we had Singapore version.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
because they're multi-regional. Yeah.
So if you're doing things for multi countries, my dudes, like really.
So they had
think
like
about
5
that.
countries or 6 countries, right?
Yeah, they had like 6 countries or something.
And then how
like that.
many deliverables per country? Oh,
It-
like
It was like 4 different sizings, and then in 4 different sizings, you had another. You had a main and then like 4 more cut downs or something
okay.
like that.
So there was, including the cut downs, there's 5,
Mhm.
something like 5 actual spots,
Yeah.
right? 5 different unique videos.
So 5 videos, and
And then they had 3 or 4 different versions because you had a horizontal, you had a square, you
Yeah.
had a vertical,
yeah,
right? So that's like for Instagram, that's for Facebook, that's for maybe
Yeah.
TV or, you know, in-store display, stuff like that.
so that alone 5.
Yeah. And then they
say
have-
3. That's 15, and
Right.
you have like 4 countries or whatever.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly. That quickly becomes 60.
60,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's going to 4 different markets, right? So different languages, different
Yeah.
trademarks, different, you know, licensing on logos and that sort of thing. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Carro itself also had
Yeah.
quite a substantial amount of.
Yeah, and one thing to note actually about that, right? Like, so you and I were just talking about this, right?
Mm.
We're actually in the middle of opening up a post house, and we were talking about how we can help bring more value to clients in the post house, right?
Yeah.
And one thing was about these exports. And now that you're saying there was 60, I'm kind of seeing it now from the post house side.
Yeah.
Before I was a client paying the post house, and I was like,
Yeah.
come on, I just need you to export one more like the client does, right? But now if someone came to me and said, hey, so there's actually 30 more deliverables than I said, I'm going to be like, that means
That's
I got to have someone in here
All day.
exporting. Yeah, for 1 or 2 days, right? Because not only do they have to export it, right? It's not just pushing a button. It's watching them all back several times to make sure that nothing is wrong, nothing glitched, you know,
Yeah.
that someone didn't miss something somewhere, right? Like
Yeah.
literally the graphic artist forgot to put a period in the URL, you know, and that goes out. That's, you know, that's us on the line for it, right? So, man,
That's a lot.
yeah, I would have to definitely have a conversation about how to approach that.
Do you want to know actually how many different deliverables we had for Carro?
Let me guess. Let's just make it a game right now, right? So we had 3 countries, right?
Yeah.
Originally or after we dropped Malaysia?
After we
See,
dropped
it's a trick
Malaysia.
question.
After we dropped Malaysia.
After you drop Malaysia,
Yeah.
which we need to talk about. You remember how we were talking about how we can get around Malaysia?
Yeah.
Let's rotoscope their shirts different colors.
Yeah.
Because it ended up, so after we agreed on everything, contract signed, I think I don't know, less than a week from shooting, they said, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
the Malaysia team is a different logo, different brand, different shirt colors. Everything's completely different.
Yeah.
And so we need you to shoot everything twice,
Yeah.
right? It's already like tight in 2 days. So that means we'd actually have to shot 4 days in the end, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a matter of like, okay, we got the shot, switch the shirt on the guy with the cheetah head, because you got to take the cheetah head off. You got to put it back on. Then you got to teach him his marks because he can't see. Like
Yeah.
this spot was so unique in itself. Okay, sorry, let me jump back. So how many, it's just like that just brought me back a little bit of like,
Yeah.
wow, I can't believe that happened. You know, so this is fun.
Okay. So 3 countries.
3 countries. 3 countries. We had, actually, I got all the spots here for Singapore. So
No
1,
way.
2, 15.
No.
15 times 3 versions, 45.
No.
It's more than that?
It's more than that. For Carro,
4
we had
versions?
59 different deliverables for video only.
Carro did not beat Pomelo.
Did not beat Pomelo.
Oh.
But yeah, you have 59 different deliveries. And I think that's something you can talk about because it has to.
Are you serious?
Yes, because you have
Arthur, I'm so sorry, man. you post-produce this, and
yeah,
I had no idea, man.
So I
had an idea, but again, I was not looking at it from a producer standpoint on this.
Yeah.
This job I was directing, so I'm like pushing it to come on, let's get it done, you know?
It wasn't that at all. Actually, like I think
59.
Yeah, it was more like the people that really took the brunt of it was the people doing the graphics, I think. Like our animator
was
doing all of the different screens for the phones was just sitting there scratching his head.
Were any of these added on?
So it wasn't.
Or were they known?
They were known, but at the same time, I think
there was a small challenge. Sorry to interrupt. There was a small challenge with the client. Not that it was bad or anything, but the contract for the marketing director, their regional, or I believe their global or regional, whatever you call it, their regional marketing director, it ended and she was actually changing companies, right?
Yeah.
So she left during that process, and then I know that everyone continuing from that, they had to. I'm sure they were putting things back together and stuff, you know. So, and we actually helped provide, I think, a lot of information as to what we had talked about up until then, because you also had COVID too. People were working remotely. It was a very different situation.
Yeah, and I think
so
we knew kind of how many exports it was.
Yeah,
and it for the most part, right. Aside from the 2 challenges was one, adjusting graphics.
Yeah,
because each country has their own language, right? So we had to change the language, currency, everything for all the screens. We had to do sound recording separately. So we had, in Thailand, we did sound recording for Thai and English.
Yeah.
And then we had to have a recordist in Indonesia do the sound recording there and send the files over for us to mix here.
Right, because we had an Indonesian voiceover. We had an English voiceover for Singapore.
Yeah.
And then we had Thai for Thailand. Yeah.
Yeah. So on that was the other challenge. And then the third, and then, scripting.
Plus,
yeah,
the voiceover, right? If you record it for 60, that doesn't mean you can just edit it down for 30 to make it feel natural.
No.
It's possible. I think we recorded for 30.
So for the
bits and pieces. For
the Indonesian one, we actually needed to, because I don't know Bahasa, right?
Right.
So I needed to send the English version out to the clients. They translated it on their side and they sent it back. And I was like, I think you guys need to time it. Like, I'm sorry, like I can't. I think you guys might want to just voice record it yourselves so it's
from the client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they did that and they found that, oh no, it's actually longer because their language is, longer to say something. So they had to kind of retrim the creative for it, send it over to the guy. And we had probably something like 4 different recordings he needed to do. So he had to do one for the 60, one for the 30, and one for the 15s.
Yeah.
And one for the 6s that like some of the words were shorter.
Right.
Yeah. So brought that back. We mixed it here, which was also challenging because we don't know the language, so we don't know the cutting points. So the guy had to actually send the files already, kind of assembled
to check.
Yeah, so that we can listen to it. And then the other thing that made the export really a lot of exports.
Yeah.
Because we did TV as well. So everything that went on TV needed to had
a different level.
Yeah.
A different output level. Yeah.
So Indonesian TV alone was an extra 5 versions. Singapore TV was an extra 1, 2, 3.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We know I think we've driven home how many different versions there are by now.
And Thai TV, because you have 2 different broadcasting systems, there was the same ad had to be exported twice with 2 different settings for
the broadcast.
Yeah. So you had essentially like triple for Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, that's man. Thank you for sticking around.